Shanks, after 25 years, is confirmed to be evil.
Oh my god, bro.
And now, Luffy's father dragon has to kill him. Oda has just blown the One Piece community into disarray with just one panel. Like, look at this silhouette of the God's Knight. He is him. He has the same sword handle, the same cloak outline. I can already feel the same Hakiman Riz coming from him too. Like, really, what other characters would it be? Seriously, come on, this person has to be Shanks himself. Now, we first learnt about these holy or god knights in chapter 1054 from none other than the director of marine criminal investigation, Kuroma Tensei. He told us that these special ops knights are given the responsibility with settling disputes between the celestial dragons. Hence, they had to intervene to mend the situation with Saint Charlos and Saint Miosgard. This dispute happened during the reverie where Charlos wanted Shirahoshi as his own slave mermaid. However, Miosgard stopped this happening as he knew her mother, Queen Otohime, who saved him decades ago. So he did the most sensible thing and slapped him up. To make matters worse, later the events at the reverie was taken as an attempted assassination of Saint Charlos's life, and Miosgard was accused of letting the attackers escape. So since we can't have lower tier people mediating disputes between these so-called gods, this gives us the first hint to the man in the silhouette. He and the rest of the knights are celestial dragons, but not any ordinary celestials. Rather, they are the warrior class of each family. Remember, all the celestial dragons we see are descendants of the royals from the 19 allied nations who fought against the ancient kingdom 800 years ago. There were actually 20 initially, but the Nefertari family of Vivi decided not to live in Merijoa. But what's certain is that even though we've seen so many snobby celestials with their bogies hanging out, being slave owners, and so, pretty much disgusting human beings, but from this group there is also those with a high disposition of strength, like Luffy for instance, who mind you was blessed with Conqueror's Haki. So these holy knights are more likely the representation of this said group. Likely the gorosei are warriors and head of their families too, which makes sense judging from each of their unique appearances, including the silhouettes and the 5 elders. There could still be another 5 more knights we have yet to see, making the full set of 19. However, the real important thing about this reveal is that Shanks is also a celestial dragon from the Figarland family. We learned this during the One Piece film Red, as the gorosei assumed Uta to be from them too, since she was said to be Shanks' daughter. The 5 elders were reluctant to kill her, even though she was causing up a storm, just due to this family. This means that even amongst the celestial dragons, the Figarland family has a high standing. Like being part of the Don Quixote family didn't really do Luffy much good just because of his father's actions. So this silhouette being related to Shanks isn't far-fetched. Imusama's God Knight being Shanks would be a big twist. However, it wouldn't really make sense for the plot. So perhaps this leader of the God Knights is Shanks' family member, but that wouldn't explain the uncanny resemblance. So this leaves us with it being Shanks' evil twin brother. How? Well, clones. Think about it. Thematically, it all makes sense. This whole Egghead arc has been about technology and clones. We saw Vegapunk's clones. Dossie being a clone was also revealed, and the biggest of them all were the Seraphims, who takes on the abilities and strengths of the warlords. So what if one of the God Knights take on the likeness of an emperor in Shanks himself? The cloning tech isn't even new, as Stussy looks to be at least 25 to 30 years old as a mature woman. Vegapunk and Mads have had the ability to create basic clones through bioengineering whilst they were working together, which explains how older Backins or Buckingham Stussy created Weevil 35 years ago. Likewise, how Judge created his children and the Germa clones, and of course Vegapunk being able to create his 6 variations. The government using Mads technology or even asking Vegapunk to bioengineer one of the celestial babies in Shanks makes sense if we look at his history too. The the Figure Land family could have easily requested to clone Shanks in order to replace him. The reasoning to this action isn't too far-fetched either, as we have seen a similar theme with Sabo and his family. Once Sabo left to pursue his own dreams, his family adopted Steady as his replacement, who then went ahead to represent them in becoming the king of Goa by marrying within the royal family. Shanks, like Sabo, was tainted by Roger and the way of being a pirate. Throughout his life, he didn't even know his heritage until Roger told him in chapter 968. But the celestial dragons were likely aware of his birth, which we believe was a controversial event, as none other than Zebek D. Rocks impregnated a daughter of the Figure Land family. We know how the celestial dragons don't even see non-celestials as humans, so one of them marrying a pirate, a person with the D initial, would never stand. This relationship, seen as an abomination, made Shanks' mother a target, and after bearing her son, she must have died, because you know, all mothers must die in One Piece.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Rocks then learnt the secrets of Imu through his lover. This gave him the idea to usurp the throne by invading Imu's hometown, which if you watched our Secret of Imu video, you would know was God Valley. Being one of the capitals for the higher echelons of the celestial dragons, likely his wife was taken away from him and gave birth to Shanks in God Valley. So to protect his child and wife's dream, Rocks D. Zebek attacked the Holy Land. But we all know what happened. He got ganked by Garp and Roger, where the latter stole his baby after killing him. Furthermore, Roger found Shanks in the treasure chest, hinting that he was being hidden by either party, which could mean baby Shanks was the treasure being fought over all along. Even Shanks' age and the events line up, where he is 39 years old in the present and God Valley was 38 years ago, making Shanks a year-old baby during the incident. Sometime after Roger's death, Shanks must have met up with the gorosei, revealing his origins. But the gorosei in turn gave this news to the Figure Land family and gifted them a replacement with Mad's cloning tech. Shanks is a mediator of the world. He controls things from the shadows to keep balance. But that is now over, as he has declared to have joined the race for One Piece and wants to become the Pirate King. So to keep balance, his clone holds the highest authority right under Imu-sama. Now this clone existing gets a whole new level of evidence when we take a look at chapter 907, where Shanks meets with the gorosei to tell them about a certain pirate during the reverie. But what if that wasn't Shanks? For some reason, the anime manga takes great care to make sure not to animate the left side of Shanks' face. In fact, we do not even see Shanks' notable scar or missing arm. These are all the chapters where Shanks has appeared in One Piece. In every one of them, he is seen with a scar. The craziest one is chapter 434, where he meets Whitebeard. The angle of his face is exactly the same as we have seen in chapter 907, but there is a scar present even then. Why? Why would Oda try so hard to hide the side of Shanks' face when he meets the gorosei? That's one of his most distinctive features. The 3 scars make Shanks him. But what's more mind-blowing is the gorosei's interaction with this so-called Shanks. In fact, the words the gorosei says could be a huge hint. You should have nothing to do with politics, they said. But Shanks has everything to do with politics. He's a Yonko. He holds territory in the New World. He came and stopped the war. He made sure Kaido wouldn't show up at Marineford. Bro, stole the Hito Hito no Mi from the CP9. His whole entire life and existence as an emperor is a political one, as he goes against the current authority of the government and the world order. So a statement like this makes no sense. However, there is also a counter to this theory that the person who met the gorosei was actually just Shanks. The main reason being that after this meeting with the gorosei, they magically learn that Luffy doesn't have the Gomu Gomu no Mi, but the god fruit Hito Hito no Mi model Nika. Since the reverie was going on at the same time as Wano, who else could have informed them of this information other than friend Shanks. He knew about the true secrets of this fruit, as Shanks spent a year hunting for it, specifically in the East Blue, and even attacked a CP9 ship for it. But again, the idea that Shanks' clone could have obtained this information is also a high possibility, as this revelation led the gorosei in plotting Luffy's assassination. Why would our Shanks, Luffy's mentor and inspiration, do this? Regardless, what's certain is that the God Knights are the strongest force within the world government. The hint to this is just the very background Oda used behind the silhouettes. This is the same pattern as the devil fruits, and everyone with the notification bell dinged should know that through a steep prediction hockey, we know Imu has access to the devil fruit tree Eve. This tree is the reason for the Fisherman Island getting sunlight and air, but it extends all the way up to the top of Marijoa, above the red line. That's why when we meet Imu-sama for the first time, they are in the flower room with a lot of vegetation around them. So it's natural for Im's Knight to have the most broken, busted devil fruits in the whole show. We can also gather these guys will have some broken powers through one of the gorosei's name being revealed. Saint J. Garcia hold the epithet of Saturn, or the god of time from the Roman mythology. This could be evidence of his power to control a form of time. Similarly, these other god knights being the head and warriors of the celestial families, just like the gorosei, will possess broken abilities, likely even all possessing Conqueror's Haki. And we also know they will be super strong from the people they will end up facing. Whilst the Straw Hats are busy dealing with the Admirals, Blackbeard, Shanks, and even Buggy, the Holy Knights will be facing off against the Revolutionaries and Monkey D. Dragon. Yep, Dragon told us himself in chapter 1054, where he declared that the Holy Knights are on the move and they will be fighting them. It also makes sense considering the world government has a huge opposition, from the Yonkos to ordinary pirates to even the Cross Guild, where the revolutionaries are directly aiming at their throats. We saw how OP the revolutionary captains are during the reverie, the 1v1 against Fujitora and Green Bull. These men are seen as nukes for the government. To battle them and survive is a testament to their power. And we all know that Dragon has the rain god fruit. Plus, being the son of the original Haki man in Garp, he's gonna be beyond broken. So for the Holy Knights to battle against these monsters, they will also have to be on a class of their own. Another hint to their powers might be that the Holy Knights link to the Templar Knights in our own world. These knights also started off as a unit of 9 soldiers, just like the 9 silhouettes of the Holy Knights we saw. They were tasked to protect Jerusalem during the First Crusade and were seen as one of the most powerful knights in the entire world at that time. As they grew over the years, the only higher authority than them in the Christian world was the Pope himself, similar to how the God's Knight only answered to Imu. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did Shanks really get cloned? And if you haven't, then make sure to watch this video out next.